The homegoing service held in honor of Ron Kenoly brought together family members, close friends, fellow worship leaders, and members of the faith community who had followed his ministry for many years. The gathering was private, respectful, and focused on remembrance rather than public attention. Those in attendance came to reflect on his life, his faith, and the role he played in shaping worship practices across churches and communities. The atmosphere of the service emphasized gratitude and reflection, allowing loved ones to honor him in a meaningful and dignified way. From the beginning of the service, it was clear that the focus was not on formality or display, but on shared remembrance. Attendees were welcomed quietly, and the service proceeded with an emphasis on faith, unity, and personal reflection. The setting allowed those present to gather without distraction, creating space for prayer, silence, and thoughtful participation. This approach reflected the values Ron Kenoly consistently demonstrated throughout his life and ministry. Family members were central to the service and took part in several moments of reflection. Their words focused on Ron Kenoly as a husband, father, and mentor, highlighting his consistency, discipline, and devotion to faith. Rather than emphasizing his public achievements alone, they shared insights into his character, daily habits, and commitment to spiritual growth. These reflections helped paint a fuller picture of who he was beyond his public role. Friends and longtime colleagues also shared memories, many of which centered on his leadership within worship communities. Speakers discussed his influence on modern worship practices, particularly his emphasis on preparation, reverence, and responsibility. They recalled how he guided worship teams, encouraged spiritual discipline, and remained focused on purpose rather than recognition. These accounts reinforced the idea that his influence extended beyond music into mentorship and leadership. Music was included in the service as a form of remembrance, reflecting Ron Kenoly's lifelong dedication to worship. The selections were chosen carefully and presented in a restrained manner, consistent with the tone of the gathering. Rather than being treated as performances, the musical moments served as expressions of faith and collective reflection. Attendees participated respectfully, recognizing the significance of the music in his life and in the lives of many present. Prayer played an important role throughout the service. Moments of guided prayer allowed attendees to reflect individually and collectively, acknowledging both loss and gratitude. These moments reinforced the spiritual foundation of the gathering and provided comfort to those in attendance. The structure of the service allowed for a balance between spoken reflections and quiet contemplation. Several speakers addressed the lasting impact of Ron Kenoly's work, emphasizing continuity rather than finality. They spoke about how his teachings, music, and leadership would continue through the many individuals he mentored and inspired. This message resonated strongly with those present, many of whom credited him with shaping their approach to worship and ministry. The service emphasized responsibility and legacy rather than closure. The memorial maintained a clear boundary between public interest and private mourning. Organizers limited media involvement, allowing the family and close community to grieve without external pressure. This decision aligned with Ron Kenoly's long-held belief that worship and faith should remain grounded and sincere. The service was structured to honor his values rather than public expectations. Attendees included church leaders, musicians, ministry workers, and individuals who had collaborated with Ron Kenoly over decades. Many traveled specifically to attend the service, reflecting the wide reach of his influence. Conversations among attendees focused on shared experiences, lessons learned, and the responsibility of carrying forward the principles he taught. The gathering became a space for mutual support as well as remembrance. Outside the service itself, tributes continued to emerge from churches and worship communities worldwide. These acknowledgments took place during regular services, online messages, and community gatherings. While not part of the funeral, they reflected the broader response to his passing and the respect he earned through years of consistent service. These tributes echoed the tone of the memorial, focusing on gratitude rather than spectacle. As with many public figures, discussion surrounding Ron Kenoly's funeral arrangements has appeared across media platforms and social networks. Some conversations have included claims or assumptions about specific elements of the service, including whether an open casket viewing was part of the funeral. It is important to clarify that no official confirmation has been released by the family or authorized representatives regarding an open casket funeral. At this time, the confirmed information remains limited to the fact that a memorial and funeral service took place in a private and respectful manner. Details regarding viewing arrangements, procession structure, or other ceremonial elements have not been officially disclosed. Any claims circulating online about these aspects should be understood as unverified and treated with caution. Open casket funerals are a common practice in some traditions and communities, while others prefer closed services or private viewings. Without confirmation, it would be inaccurate to state definitively which format, if any, was used in Ron Kenoly's service. Responsible discussion focuses on verified facts and avoids presenting speculation as truth. The family's decision to limit public details reflects a broader effort to protect personal moments of grief. By keeping certain aspects private, they allowed the service to remain focused on faith and remembrance rather than public scrutiny. This approach aligns with the principles Ron Kenoly emphasized throughout his life, including humility and reverence. As official statements become available, credible sources may provide further clarification regarding funeral arrangements. Until then, the most accurate understanding remains centered on what has been confirmed, that Ron Kenoly was honored through a dignified memorial service attended by family, friends, and members of the faith community, and that the gathering emphasized reflection, worship, and gratitude. In closing, the homegoing service for Ron Kenoly served as a meaningful reminder of the impact one individual can have through consistent faith and service. The memorial focused on values that defined his life, including dedication, leadership, and spiritual integrity. While public curiosity continues around ceremonial details, the lasting significance of the service lies in the shared commitment of those present to carry forward the lessons he lived by. As of now, there is no official confirmation regarding claims of an open casket funeral or other specific ceremonial arrangements. Viewers are encouraged to rely on verified information and to approach unconfirmed reports responsibly. What remains certain is that Ron Kenoly was remembered with respect, dignity, and appreciation by those whose lives he touched.